Hello, everybody. Welcome to Jumping in an Elevator, the podcast where I, Mike, from the YouTube channel MicsMike, I look into the things that you want to know more about, but you can't be bothered researching them yourself. And I think you can kind of tell a trend here in the last few episodes. I'm going into the depths of the things that make me scream, I think is the best way to put it. So we did time, we did mirrors, we did colors. And when I think about screaming, I think about the ocean. The ocean, oh my gosh. Can you say traumatizing? It's traumatizing. The ocean, oh my God. The ocean literally is the ocean. And I've had enough of the ocean, to be honest. Ocean, if you're listening to this, I've had enough of your shit, to be honest. This key light that I've got in my face, it's so bright. Like, it's so aggressive. And yet, I'm keeping it on because I'm trying to be, like, high production value. But, like, I'm screaming internally and externally, as you can see, and here. Hope you're all having a fun week thus far. Also, apologies for the chair squeaking in the last episode of the podcast. She needs some oil. She needs some milk. She will be oiled at some point, just not right now. So I'm going to try and sit upright, but not with good posture, so that I am not squeaking on the chair, but I am sitting up straight. You know the vibes. So the ocean, why do I have such feelings towards the ocean? Well, lady, where do I begin? Because there's so many things to cover. Look, I've got a whole list of things that I want to discuss when talking about the ocean, and the overall theme here is scary things about the ocean, basically. But not like, ooh, Bermuda Trench, all these people went missing. Like, no. I mean, like, the pressure at the bottom of the ocean, how deep the ocean is, the biggest things in the ocean, that vibe, okay? We're scientific, and it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a frightening time. It's going to be fun. But I need to give you, like, a background on how I feel about oceans. It's hell in there. It's horror. Okay, the scale, right? The unknowns. The fact we've been on this rock floating around the sun for how long, bitch? For how long? And we don't even know everything that's in the ocean. I screamed. It's scary. It's absolutely terrifying. The animals in the ocean. Don't even get me started. Well, we will be getting started on that later. Swimming. No, absolutely not. To put it simply, I don't like big bodies of water. Big bodies, you are beautiful. Dun, 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 dun. Walks into the room. Feels like a big balloon singing. Big ocean, you are beautiful. I love that song. Diet Coke and a pizza, please. I'm going to get copyright because my singing is so good. Swimming, full stop? No. Like, I get that swimming's important and, like, such a good life skill. But, fuck that shit. I don't like big bodies of water. That's that on that. I could end the podcast episode right now saying, I don't like big bodies of water. Okay? And let me explain why. It all stems back to high school trauma. When does it not? Let me set the scene for you, okay? And I might have told this story before, and I might be messing up some details, but it's the thought that counts, right? Okay, it's the year 2009. I'm in year 9, which is the second year of high school. I'm a little bitch, right? Both in personality and size. I was small at that point still. I would say I'm not small anymore, but I would also say that, like, at that point, I was very, very small. Like, I grew probably in uni is when I grew. And maybe after uni, it was kind of scream-worthy. Everyone was scared, shook, panicking. They were mumbling and cackling while I was in the stew, growing tall. So yeah, 2009, I was in year 9. It was the school swimming carnival. My school was kind of like that sporty type of school, and don't even fucking get me started on that shit. Like, I understand why they wanted everyone to do, like, all the sport, because they're like, yes, health and fitness, boots the house, Charlie, Mama, RuPaul walk down the runway. Honey, can't I just pick a carnival? Like, I'll do the athletics carnival. I'll do bloody 100-meter sprint. My little legs can take me that far. They won't take me over the hurdles, though. I like fucking nearly dislocated my knee doing compulsory hurdles. Compulsory hurdles? Compulsory hurdles. Can you believe they made me do hurdles when I was like the size of like a cucumber? Like, I was like, imagine a cucumber standing up. That was me. I was trying to jump over hurdles. Traumatizing. Every single hurdle got knocked over. That's my legacy. Anyway, so then I'd also have to do the swimming carnival. And when I say you have to do the swimming carnival, I'm not just saying, oh, you can do like a fun race or you can just like spectate, you just go there and watch. No, you have to do the races. So I was petrified of swimming already because just the thought of big bodies of water, just not the move. And then I also didn't like competing at an all-boys school because can you imagine the testosterone and like just the rage coming from people at all times? I don't want to race against that. Absolutely not. In this economy? No. Absolutely not. But I had to. Traumatizing. So, okay, it was like Division F freestyle. I think there was up to Division G or H. So I wasn't the worst, but honey, there was several divisions above that. Okay, let's just say that. I dive in the pool. Nobody else has dived into the pool because I left the block early, right? Not like, oh, he jumped in, let's restart the race. Not like that. I mean, like I fell in a little bit earlier than everyone else. They still raced. But I was panicking so much that I dived in with my mouth open. Okay? Fun visuals for everyone. Me diving in, small, childlike person, mouth open. Consider that, okay? I get in the water and I'm like, ugh. You know how it is. You know the vibes. And I'm freaking out because I feel like I'm drowning. Low key, I am. I have to get out the side of the pool, okay? Because I've gone under and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't continue this race. I'm going to swim to the side of the pool. Remember, everyone else is still racing. And, oh, did I mention every single member of the high school was at the swimming pool? Yeah. Something to think about, okay? So everyone sees me do this. I swim to the side of the pool. A teacher has to pull me out of the pool because I'm so exhausted from nearly drowning. And which teacher pulls me out? The teacher who cut his finger. He sawed his finger off in the woodworking room. I kid you not. He cut half his finger off. And I think he reached in with that hand that had half a finger and he helped me out. The things you remember, right? Okay, so that was the 2009 swimming carnival. Now, I want to say this was also in 2009, but it could potentially have been 2010. Trauma galore. We used to do this thing called the biathlon. You may be aware of triathlons, where you're swimming, you're running, you're riding a bike. Okay? I didn't mind triathlons in primary school. Matter of fact, I actually went to inter-school, which is like when you do good and you go to like the next level against other schools, because I rode my dad's bike and I was small and the bike was big. So I just like did the physics on that. I was zooming. I was Abby Lee Miller, right? I was zooming, dude. So I went into school for the riding leg of a triathlon. Iconic, my greatest sporting performance. Biathlon, as you can see, it ain't no try. It's two, right? It's running and swimming. So you're thinking, okay, that's fine. Just run on the track and go to the pool. I think the fuck not, you trick ass bitch. They made us run on the beach and then swim in the beach. And you might be thinking, oh, cute, fun. No, absolutely not. Consider me with atrocious knees. I had such bad knees. And then running on sand. Oh, I could have punched someone. I was enraged. I used to use my knees as excuses to not do carnivals and that kind of shit. But then they started getting suspicious because I was literally always having sore knees. So then like I couldn't use it all the time. You had to save it up for like something that you knew was going to be traumatic, such as the swimming carnival. So then I think this was 2010 then, because I would have used my knees for swimming carnival erasure, right? Which meant I had to do the biathlon. And so you're running and you have to swim in the fucking ocean, right? And it's not like, can California beaches. Let me go la da 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 through the water. No, it's like waves and shit. Salt spray. Right? I'm still small at this point. Traumatizing. The amount of salt water that I drank. And let me tell you, the next year, they had to cancel it because of sharks. Sharks. They had to cancel the biathlon because of sharks. Oh my God. Anyway, so that's why I don't like big bodies of water, okay? I have a personal vendetta against big bodies of water because they've done me wrong previously, okay? So then that's the context that you need to know. For today's episode of the podcast, in terms of scientific stuff, we're going to look at what the fuck is going on in the ocean, what are the girls up to below the surface, because we know they're up to something. Also, I know there are some ocean stans, and if you're an ocean stan, I love that for you. Have fun in the ocean. You will not catch me there. Maybe, okay, I have been to the beach. No, it's true. It's true. You might be looking at me like, wow, he got a tan. And it's true, I did get a tan. In Western Australia, I would sometimes go to the beach, but I would not be swimming. No ma'am. No ma'am. I would be very much stationary on the sand. Okay? Sand is fun. Sand is fun when you're not running on it. That's the caveat. Sand is fun. There's a footnote on that page. Let's have a look. It says when you're not running on it. Okay, great. Love that. So, first thing that I want to talk about is how deep is the ocean? How deep is the ocean? The average depth of the ocean is about 12,100 feet. Not the feet discourse. That's 3,600 meters. 3,600 meters. I'm outraged. I am outraged. The tallest building is the Burj Khalifa, which is 828 meters. The tallest building, okay? 3.5 of the tallest building is the average depth of the ocean. The average. Oh. No. The deepest part of the ocean is called the Challenger Deep and is located beneath the Western Pacific Ocean in the southern end of the Mariana Trench. I've heard about her before. The Marinara Trench, the seafood marinara trench. Maybe that's where seafood marinara came from. Seafood marinara is interesting. Or pasta marinara. Because doesn't seafood and marinara mean the same thing? I guess marinara is the type of the sauce, but it means seafood sauce. I don't know if it's my favourite. No, it's definitely not my favourite. I don't even know if it's in my top 10 pastas. Okay, or pasta, or pasta, depending where you're from. The Italians know. It's an Italian thing. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it unless you're an Italian girl from New York, which I am, okay? Okay, great. So Mariana Trench, which runs several hundred kilometers southwest of the US territorial island of Guam, and they just love to say that, don't they? Challenger Deep is approximately 36,200 feet deep. Okay? That's 11 kilometers. 11 kilometers. 11 km. For context, during my running era last year, I would run like 4 or 5Ks. Let's say I ran 5Ks. 5Ks would take me 25 minutes-ish, right? So if I ran at that speed for, not me doing quick maths live, 55 minutes or some shit, that's how deep the Marinara Trench is. The way that I know it's not marinara, but in my head I'm like, Mariana is marinara. And they are the one and the same, and we're just going to use them interchangeably. That's deep. That's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy. You can't be sitting there listening to this like, that's not crazy. Because I know for a fact that is in fact crazy. Let's talk about the seafood marinara trench. If Mount Everest was placed into the trench at the deepest point, its peak would still be under the water by more than 2 kilometers. I screamed. No, it's true. I screamed. At the bottom of the trench, the water column above exerts a pressure of 1,086 bars, which is 15,750 psi, which is more than 1,071 times the standard atmospheric pressure at sea level. Girl, pressure is not to be fucked with, okay? Pressure is the real bitch, okay? You sometimes see, like, you're thinking about, like, temperature. You're thinking about volume. They're like, oh, temperature will get me in the end. Volume will get me in the end. Pressure is the one you need to watch out for. Pressure, like in the ocean, pressure in space, lack of pressure, or whatever it is, that's the real shit, right? Pressure is the one you need to watch out for, okay? At the pressure of 1,071 times standard atmospheric pressure, the density of water is increased by 4.96%. The temperature at the bottom is 1 to 4 degrees Celsius, which is 34 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit, not the 3439, 39 degrees Fahrenheit. In 2009, the Mariana Trench was established as a US national monument. I included that because I'm like, is it that serious? Like, do you know where the Mariana Trench is? It ain't anywhere near the US, but it's near the US territorial island of Guam. So they're like, yup, let me make that a monument. Let's talk about trips. This is, oh my God. Okay. The fourth trip to the bottom of the Marianas Trench was made by Canadian filmmaker James Cameron on the 26th of March 2012. James Cameron, okay? James Cameron. He reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench in the submersible vessel Deep Sea Challenger, diving to a depth of 10,908 meters. This raises the question, why was James Cameron in the fucking Seafood Marinara? James Cameron made Avatar, the Titanic and that shit, and he solo dived in this fucking submarine to the bottom of the Seafood Marinara. And for what? Right? I saw that name and I was like, oh, yes, very common name. It's like John Smith vibes, right? There's probably hundreds of James Camerons going around the trench all the time. No, it's actual James Cameron. And he did it with National Geographic. He's the first human to reach the 11-kilometer deep undersea valley solo. And apparently, this is according to National Geographic, he arrived at the bottom with the tech to collect scientific data, specimens, and visions unthinkable in 1960 when the only other manned Challenger deep dive took place. Like, I'm sorry, was that common knowledge? That fucking James Cameron from the Titanic dived solo. Okay, it's not really diving. I guess it is kind of diving. It's a deep dive. He went to the bottom of the Seafood Marinara. Was I supposed to just know that? Did other people know that? That's mental. That's insane. Like, if anyone had done that, that's crazy. But the fact that it's James Cameron, I just don't get it. But also, go off James Cameron. Like, can we get a movie out of that? Maybe he used that for reference in Avatar 2. Is that still happening? James, sir, if you're watching this, please email me. Let me know if Avatar 2 is still happening and can I get advance tickets? Thank you. Okay, let's talk about what the largest thing in the ocean is. I'm scared. I'm shook. I'm panicking. The blue whale is the biggest animal on Earth known to man on both land and sea. It's comparable to a Boeing 373. Do they mean Boeing 737? Anyway, and its tongue alone weighs 4 tons. Like, the thicky tongue for what? You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, I see these big animals and I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. But why? Like, what was the reason? You know what I mean? I guess there's always got to be someone bigger, someone badder, ready to eat you up in the ocean. But then who eats the blue whale? Do they even eat other fish? Or do they just eat like krill and shit? How do they get that big just eating weeds? You know what I mean? That's the same thing with cows. How do cows get so big just eating grass? Somebody lied. Somebody lied several times about what these animals are eating. The fin whale. Actually, the second largest animal on the planet. Okay, we love a statistic. It can swim up to 23 miles per hour and has a diet primarily of crustaceans, krill, squid, and fish. Mmm, delicious. Not the seafood marinara. They've got whale shark, sperm whale, giant manta rays. Those girls, they be doing the most. Lion's mane jelly. Okay, this is a bad bitch. You know when you see a bad bitch and you recognize a bad bitch? Bad bitches see each other, right? As a bad bitch, when I see a lion's mane jellyfish, I'm like, yeah, that's a bad bitch. They have 8 groups of tentacles, which are composed of 70 to 150 strands that can grow up to 120 feet in length. 120 feet. Oh my god. No, I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to move on. Killer whale, great white shark, giant oarfish. Okay. Instead of giving a warning for like a throwing up sound and then doing the throwing up sound, I'm not going to do that, but I'm just going to let you know. If I wasn't recording right now, I would look at this and gag. This is a big fucking eel, right? Oh, not this. It's essentially a giant sea serpent known as one of the world's largest bony fish, and it reaches up to 56 feet. I'm going to log off. Okay? I'm going to log off, delete all my social media accounts, and then live in a cave and never go near the ocean and never think about a giant oarfish. This is not it. Japanese spider crab, that's kind of cute actually. And then there's like giant octopus. Not the octopus. Why is that word kind of messing with me? Is that right? That's right. No. No. Octopus. Octopus. Yes. Okay, we're there. Basking shark. Girl, that looks like something out of Luigi's Mansion 3. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's talk about storms at sea. Rogue waves. If you thought it was Scream territory before, rogue waves, bitch, that's the real shit. Okay? Think of a big wave. Okay? I want you to think about a big wave. Let's everybody visualize a big wave. What's the biggest wave that you've seen? Yeah? Great. Think of a bigger wave. Yeah? Great. Bigger one? There we are. Okay? We're talking about rogue waves. So according to Bestie Wikipedia, a rogue wave is known as a freak wave, which is a monster wave, or a killer wave, an extreme wave. Those words just inspire confidence. They're dangerous and rare ocean surface waves that unexpectedly reach at least twice the height of the tallest waves around them. Okay? So it's like a one-off freak wave. Often described by witnesses as walls of water, they occur in deep water, usually far out at sea, and are a threat even to capital ships and ocean liners. No. Okay? Fuck the ocean. I'm not going out. People who go on cruise ships, like, maybe, like, with the pandemic, no one's going on cruise ships, and maybe that's for the best, right? Because cruise ships, scary, because you're in the deep sea. And not even, what's her name? Queen Elizabeth II, the big ship, the biggest ship ever, whatever. She can't deal with the rogue waves. Rogue waves? No. The Bahamian registered cruise ships MS Bremen and MS Caledonian Star encountered 30-meter freak waves in the South Atlantic in 2001. That's 98 feet, by the way. Are you serious? A 30-meter wave. I just got chills. Oh, no. Like, if you think about a building, right? I think a floor of a building is 3 meters. So think of a 10-story building and then visualize that as a wave. So when this happened, bridge windows on both ships were smashed and all power and instrumentation was lost. Being lost at sea? That's the worst. I can't imagine anything worse than that. You know the show Lost? I wouldn't mind being on the island, right? I just wouldn't want to deal with the ocean. So maybe I would like to be stranded in a desert. But then I'd probably also just die of having no water. But would you rather die of having no water in the desert, or would you rather die of having no water on an island because you can't drink the fucking seawater? Think about that, okay? I mean, if I had access to flint, yeah, maybe I could light a fire. I watched Survivor. You know how it is, okay? If I could get a fire going and I had access to a pot or some form of like stone bowl or some shit, I don't know. and I could boil some seawater and boil out the salt, then I'd be able to drink some water. But that's so many ifs. In the desert? Yeah. No water. Let me find an oasis. That's the same luck as finding a fucking rock bowl on my island. What am I talking about? I was talking about Lost, which is a great TV show, by the way. I'm thinking of a rewatch. I'm actually watching Mr. Robot at the moment, but I'm feeling a Lost or Pretty Little Liars rewatch on the horizon. Okay, on the event horizon, I see that happening for us. The biggest wave ever. An earthquake followed by a landslide, not the Fleetwood Mac, in 1958 in Alaska's Lituya Bay generated a wave 100 feet high, the tallest tsunami ever documented. When the wave ran ashore, it snapped trees 1,700 feet upslope. No. 100 feet, that's around 31 meters or some shit. That's fucking, like, no. What's a tsunami? Okay, let's talk about tsunamis. Tsunamis are giant waves caused by earthquakes or volcanic eruptions under the sea. Out in the depths of the ocean, tsunami waves do not dramatically increase in height, okay? So out in the ocean, they're like, vibes, just chilling, okay? But as the waves travel inland, they build up to a higher and higher heights as the depth of the ocean decreases, okay? They be absorbing all that wave juice, right? The speed of tsunami waves depends on ocean depth rather than the distance from the source of the wave. Interesting spill. Tsunami waves may travel as fast as jet planes over deep waters. We need to reread that, okay? Tsunami waves may travel as fast as jet planes over deep waters, only slowing down when reaching shallow waters. Jet planes? Jet planes, bitch. Jet planes. While tsunamis are often referred to as tidal waves, this name is discouraged by oceanographers because tides have little to do with these giant waves. Okay, oceanographers said, girl, stop this. Enough of this slander. It's got nothing to do with the tides. Tides is a whole bloody another thing, isn't it? Tides, Tide Pods, right? Which one's worse? Why do we even, why does the moon have so much to say about the oceans? You know how the moon is responsible for the tides? She's doing a lot, okay? Sometimes I think that we don't give the moon enough attention, but then she pulls shit like tides and it's like, okay, fun, but also, do you have anything else to offer? Right? When I was talking about waves traveling as fast as jet planes, let me give you a stat for that. So commercial passenger jet aircraft cruise at about 400 to 500 knots, which is 460 to 575 miles per hour, which is 740 to 930 kilometers per hour. That's how fast these waves are going. That's no. I don't think you understand. I'm not obsessed. That's why I'm not the ocean, right? Anything but the ocean at this point. And then we haven't even discussed the pressure. Okay. Also, before we talk about pressure, I wanted to talk about this fucking lion jellyfish some more. Because these stats, are you serious? It can reach up to 2 meters wide. The fucking tentacles is what's getting me. The tentacles, 15-meter tentacles on a 2-meter fucking jellyfish. Is the ocean serious right now? Like that? No. The whale shark can reach 12 meters long. My apartment is not 12 meters long. My apartment is, I don't even know. It's a weird shape to start with. I can't even give you that detail. There's giant spined sea stars near California. The Portuguese Man of War. Oh my God. Okay. If you have time, Google Portuguese Man of War. It has a cool name because it is a cool looking thing. It's not even a fish. It's mistaken for a jellyfish. It's made up of a colony of organisms working together. Sorry? Its tentacles can extend 50 meters below the surface, although 10 meters is the average. That's still, I hate it. No, and no. Okay, now let's talk about some pressure. Because The water pressure at the bottom of the trench, we're talking about Marinaras, not the Seaford Marinara again. We're talking about the Seaford Marinara Trench, okay? The pressure is 8 tons per square inch, or 1,000 times the standard atmospheric pressure at sea level, okay? That's what I mentioned before. And pressure increases with depth, right? So that's why it's such a big deal for diving when you're going down and going up. You need to have the right protocols and procedures to work out how to deal with the pressure, because that shit escalates so fast. So I've got 2 little resources here. First one is a fun little Q&A that I found on some university website. And the question was, what would happen to an unprotected person at the bottom of the ocean or in outer space? Fun question. I've actually answered the outer space bit before on a different episode of the podcast. So now we're going full circle and answering the ocean bit. And let's read this answer. It's from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. What a fun name. Department of Physics. They have like a special website and it's on there if you want to have a look. So basically they're saying that the person's dead either way. Obviously, bestie, right? Did the thing, right? That's it. That's the end of the line. The tram has reached the end of the line. Okay? What a fun analogy. At the bottom of the ocean, there's 4 big things that would happen. Number 1, because it's so cold, remember it's 1 to 4 degrees, the person would experience severe hypothermia and the body would eventually stop working because of the cold temperature, but this is probably not what would kill them. Number 2, there's no air. Jordan Sparks tease. They didn't write that, but it's implied. You can't breathe at the bottom of the ocean. If you can't breathe, your body won't stay alive for more than about 30 minutes, although you'd lose consciousness after about 5. That's actually quite interesting. So you lose consciousness after 5 minutes, but you're still alive for 25, just unconscious with no air. No air, no air, no. The water pressure is high. The pressure from the water would push into the person's body, causing any space that is filled with air to collapse. Oh my lord. Oh, okay, this is kind of gruesome. So just trigger warning for gruesome. The lungs would collapse. At the same time, the pressure from the water would push water into the mouth, filling the lungs back up again with water instead of air. But if there's no air-filled space to be pushed into, the body would not be crushed. Spill. Part of the problem with the old pressure suits that deep sea divers used to use was that if they depressurized the soft part of the suit, the entire body would be crushed into the rigid helmet. Oh my god. See, whenever I read anything about like early scientific discoveries, like diving and all that kind of shit, or like electricity related things, the girls were just fucking going for it, weren't they? And it just sounds just traumatic. Like, they do the dive, they do the damn thing, and they come up and they get crushed into the rigid helmet. Bye. At high pressures, the chemistry of how the body works changes. If the person did have some way of getting air into their system, their body would immediately undergo what is called nitrogen narcosis. This happens because at high pressures, nitrogen is much more soluble in water or blood than oxygen is. Okay, spill with the facts. Since air is mostly nitrogen, the blood would become full of dissolved nitrogen, which would bind to parts of the body that need to use oxygen, and the person would literally suffocate from the inside out. Now tell me you want to go for a swim. Look like I'm going for a swim. Dunked on him, now I'm swinging off the rim. No. Again, to reiterate my point, you will not catch me in the ocean. And if I'm in the ocean, it's for a very, very limited amount of time. I'm not in the ocean to like, frolic. I'm there to like visualize it, to perceive the ocean, look in the ocean, yeah, hey besties, hey little seashells on the floor, and then I'm done and I'm out, okay? Don't pressure me to go in the ocean because I won't. On a boat, oof. Okay, maybe I'll go on a boat if it gets me from point A to point B. Let's just say if we're in a zombie apocalypse, whatever, and I can't travel by land because there's zombies everywhere, yes, I will take the boat. But the other options, I would exhaust all other options before going on the zombie boat, okay? Maybe there's zombies on the boat. There's even more reason to not go in the ocean. Do you know what I mean? So true. It just makes so much sense what I'm saying right now. That does bring me to the end of the things that I wanted to say. And I think I got my point across. So, sorry to these ocean stands, but I said what I need to say. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, and you're not following, make sure you follow or hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. You can leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you're not a patron already and you'd like to be a patron, there's a link in the description of wherever you're viewing and listening to this too, because the link is everywhere. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next week. Peace out. Bye.